What took us up there was looking for some family members for members of our board of directors here and of the department. We left here to go up there to assist in looking for them. We left here, arrived in Joplin probably 11:30, 12 in the afternoon, somewhere in that neighborhood. Checked in with the fire department, got our clearances to go where we needed to go, and we went looking for the people that we were looking for based on the information that was given to us where they were at.
What kind of information did you have? I mean, kind of give me a rundown. Your board member, one was her family member, what?
Yeah, basically it was some of her family members. We knew where the vehicle that they were driving was located. So we went to where the vehicle was located.
Okay, where was the vehicle? Was it?
In the Home Depot parking lot.
Okay, now going down there, I mean, look at some of these stills. There's a lot of destruction. What was it? What did it take to actually find the Home Depot? First of all, I mean,
there's no street signs. There's no, I mean, everything's gone. There's no landmarks. There's nothing. Basically, we was told the Home Depot was off of one of the major streets to look for the big orange pile, and that was the description that was gave to us. After working our way around through the devastated areas around the hospital and in that area, we finally found it. The only way that it was recognizable was by, just like they had told us when we got there, the big orange pile for all the racks and everything that was once in the Home Depot.
Tell me, destruction-wise, what did the building look like? How would you describe it?
A pile. I mean, there's no way to describe it other than a pile. If it wouldn't have been for the orange racks, you'd have never known what that building was.
Now, several other commercial buildings right around the area too.
A Walmart directly across the street. Again, without somebody telling me it was a Walmart, you'd have never known it was a Walmart. There were some other big commercial buildings there, a Kohl's and some other things. Based on just somebody telling us what they were is the only reason we knew what the buildings were. There's no signs, there's no typical markings, there's nothing to visually attach that place as Home Depot, Walmart, or whatever.
Can we get a picture of that? Okay, you've got, tell me a little bit the Home Depot as far as the construction of that building, and kind of give me a rundown of the construction of that building. I mean, you're looking at a solid concrete building, the roof and everything else, and now you're looking at a pile of rubble.
Well, and one of the things is most people, especially in our business, know concrete tilt wall construction. Concrete tilt wall construction is held up by its roof. Once the roof is lifted off the building, then the concrete walls basically are freestanding. They're going to fall. And from what I can tell, looking at the buildings and stuff, that's a lot of the destruction that I seen was from when the roofs came up, the walls fell in.
You've seen this a lot of times when they're building in the construction stages, when they're still putting them up, you know, with high wind or something blow a wall over, but it's just a completed building like this. Now, how many people, okay, the parking lot was quite a few cars out there in the parking lot?
Well, they had already cleared off most of the cars to make room for the emergency crews and stuff that were there. The heavy equipment that was moving some of the stuff to try to look for survivors or to go into the recovery mode.
Now, there were some survivors at Home Depot.
There was some survivors from what we've been told by the Home Depot representative that was on location. There was roughly 31 people that made it to the back of the building where apparently they have like a safe room in the back of the building. Those 31 people walked out of the building. The others that they found in the building were along the concrete tilt wall construction that when it collapsed, it fell in.
Okay, and there's search is still continuing. I mean, it's a lot of debris there to clear out.
It's a massive amount of debris. To see the look on the emergency worker's face and to see the determination that they have, they're overwhelmed. I've been doing this a long time and I've never seen destruction like that, never. I thought that I've seen some bad destruction when some of the hurricanes that we've had locally in the past, none of that matches up to the destruction that is there.
Almost like a war zone type deal.
It's a war zone type of deal. It'll make you tear up. You know, the sadness is just, it's everywhere. Normally you see people walking around with their heads up, you know, trying to better their situation and things like that. These people have really just been devastated to the point of it's unimaginable. And since I've been there, and I've been back a couple of days now, I've been trying to put into words of how to explain it. And still to this day, I can't figure out how to explain it, other than it's just devastation to a point that it's unimaginable.
How many of y'all went up there?
2 of us.
Okay, now going up there, y'all had quite a bit of search and rescue experience and such as that. You've been involved in it before. What was running through your mind going up there?
Well, your typical things. What are you going to do? You know, looking back on your training, making sure you're being safe, because the weather conditions on the way up there, we were watching the weather. We knew there were going to be continuing weather, trying to make sure that we always establish us a safe point to where we can retreat to if need be. Just the typical things that go through your mind, preparing yourself to be there.
Once you pulled into town, what went through your mind then when we started seeing this?
Once we pulled into town and we got to the hospital, any preparations that you thought you had went out the window. Some of the search and rescue that we've done, the training that we've been in, does not even begin to equal the devastation that's on the ground there. And I don't think there's a training class that can mock that kind of scenario.
What, I mean, you're looking at buildings, you're looking at quite a few, kind of describe the area, what else did you find besides, I mean, you see these buildings, what type of building? Houses, apartments, schools?
Houses, apartments, schools, fire stations. We did see one of the fire stations, still had the apparatus in it, and it's a pile. Firemen's trying to dig their way out of it. The schools, gone. Apartments, if somebody that wasn't the guide that was showing us around, if he would not have told me it was an apartment or a duplex, you wouldn't have known it. It's just a huge pile. Cars and trees, cars and houses, cars and streets. Not small cars, full-size cars, dump trucks, tractors. Look like they've been chewed up and spit out. Pieces of the concrete's been pulled up. I seen one spot where the manhole cover was gone. And, you know, anybody that knows manhole covers are not light. It was missing. Utility lines down everywhere. Just, it's kind of hard to explain when you ask for landmarks, because from being out of town and not knowing the town, to me there were no landmarks other than the hospital. Everything's based on the hospital. That's the one big building that's still recognizable.
They're not saying that was one single tornado, not a massive tornado, that was one single tornado, one of the worst probably in history since back in the 30s almost, with that much as far as single day fatalities and injuries. Can you believe a tornado? I mean, you hear tornado warnings. What do you think now? Do you think that when you get a tornado warning, I hear a whole different perspective on it? It
gives you a whole different perspective. There are things that we take for granted. And I've been watching some of the news reports and some of the others. And even some of those people that live there took it for granted. And I think this is something, this ought to be a experience for everybody to understand that these warnings are given out for a reason. And when these warnings come out, we need to pay attention to them, because nobody can predict Mother Nature like that. They can tell us that they're coming. They can give us the warnings. We have to gear ourselves and teach our neighbors, friends, and family that when these warnings come out, we need to pay attention to them, and we need to take them serious all the time.
Now, up there you've got, they have quite a few sirens in that basically what they used to call air raid sirens, going off to notify people. A lot of them said they couldn't even hear one because the rain was so intense, the hail was so intense. Down here, we don't have the sirens, but we've got the code red. How important is these people down in Montgomery County to have code red and to heed their warnings?
It's important because, again, Mother Nature is going to do things that very few of us can predict. That's why we have weathermen. Even in the emergency services, we rely on them. We rely on them to give us notice so that we can prepare. These code reds, these other alert systems that we get out, radio, TV, when these come out, we need to pay attention to them. We all do. Emergency services, civilians, all of us, we should pay attention to these. And we should make it a point to make sure that our community is aware so that things like this doesn't happen here.
Okay, where your district is, you run right along 45, one of the heaviest traveled roads through this county, and multiple major accidents. But in addition, you've got commercial buildings all up and down both sides of that freeway, large shopping centers, big buildings. When do you have someone in, if a tornado should come in one of these buildings? Now think about these tilt walls and all.
The tilt wall constructions, again, it goes back to what you're being taught. Don't go to the walls. Go to the interior of these buildings. Do not get along the walls. They tell you in your houses to go to interior rooms, get away from windows and doors and things like that. It is very important in these tilt wall construction buildings that you heed that warning. If something was to happen, those walls are heavy, and that's a huge slab that's going to come down. The center part of the buildings, even up there, and this is what we have learned in the short time I was there, is the safest place to be in tilt wall constructions is in the center of the buildings.
What else can you tell me about the area up there? I mean, the rescue workers, what's their main, how are they heating? I mean, what are they doing right now?
The rescue workers are just moving from spot to spot. There's so much devastation. You know, you look at things in our training and we're taught, you know, how to start, where to start, you know, how to prioritize where you're going to start. In an area as large as Joplin, I just don't see the prioritizing because that entire city was a priority. It wasn't just spotty, a few places here, a few places there. It starts in one spot and it ends in another. The entire place is a priority. Those guys up there, they're devoted, they're determined, and they're just pushing themselves. I've seen them push to exhaustion and beyond. I've seen them laying on the ground being treated and not wanting to quit. Hats off to those people. True professionals, truly dedicated, and it shows in the services they're providing.
No, I know, I believe it's, Monday or Tuesday I called you when, you know, Chickasaw, Oklahoma, had just got hit with a tornado. They said it was moving back toward Joplin. After that phone call, kind of describe what all happened. I mean, I got a message from you about 9 o'clock, I think, that it really got bad.
Yes, we got there, and basically after we had met with the crews over there and spent our time with them, you know, we were basically told, look, there's no shelter left in Joplin. The storms are coming. Everybody knew they were coming, so the best place for us to be is on our way home. So, you know, we heeded their warning. We started headed home, and that's when it got nasty. A lot of the big storms that went from Dallas all the way through Oklahoma, back up through Joplin, all through there, we hit all those on the way home. We managed to stay just ahead of them, but it definitely was an experience. Truly an experience.
You're talking about some of the, up there too, some of the, I mean, grass or straw through things, just jabbed through like a arrow.
Yeah. Leaves, boards drove through cars. I actually seen a board drove through a light pole, just stuck through a steel light pole. You know, it's truly amazing at the force that these things have, and it gives us more reason to respect them and to pay attention to that and to learn from the experiences there.
Now, this board member, what was her name?
Roxanne.
Okay, Roxanne, she lost how many family members she lose?
3.
Okay, her brother-in-law and 2 children, was it?
I believe that is, or niece or nephew. It was in her immediate family. Yes.
Okay. Tell me what I mean. Thinking here, I mean, basically all family around here. What? How does that kind of?
You know, I've been doing this a long time, and that's probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Is to call somebody that you're that close to, and that you do know, and you can put a face to it, and tell them what I had to tell her. That's truly been one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do, and I hope that in the rest of my career I never have to do that again.
Now, her sister was across the street at the hospital already at work, and the hospital was damaged too. Tell me a little bit about the hospital.
We didn't get to spend much time at the hospital. They're doing a lot of trying to get it cleaned out, moving things around. The hospital literally is one of the most recognizable buildings there, you know, but the damage to it is just unimaginable. You look at hospitals and things like that, and we take for granted that they're there and they're always going to be there when we need them. But when that town needed it the most, it's gone. It suffered just like they did. Again, you just struggle with trying to put the proper terminology to it of how bad it is until you've been there. It's truly one of the worst places I've been.